Hello, welcome to Skull RPG Podcast. My name's Dwight Skull.
My name's Jacob Skull.
And today we're going to teach you how to tell your story.
So this one is kind of a question that you and I have been talking about since we're running through with our GM on the pre-made.
Yeah.
And we have the problem of we're too high.
Yeah. Well, some of us are should be treated as higher level CRs than the challenge ratings than we are, which is exactly what we talked about last night.
So the question that we need to address here, I think, is, so let's say you have a fight that's already in session, and then you start to realize they're walking through this way too quickly, or they're struggling. How do you, in mid-fight, scale the CR up or down?
Yeah, let's talk about up first. And I think actually...
Up's easier than down.
I think maybe a couple game sessions ago, our game master actually did this, which was great. So we heard some noises. I ducked around the corner as a wizard. I cast a fireball down a corridor, and I snuck back. I'm pretty sure I probably killed the entire encounter at that point.
But it's like 3 ogres around the corner that you killed.
But all of a sudden what happened is 4 large size dire lions, fiendish dire lions came around, which was great. And then more trolls came up from around the corner as well. And then what happened is, while we were fighting all of that, down another hallway, 3 or 4 other monsters came wandering in.
Troglodyte clerics to help.
And that fight became what looked to be like, I walked around the corner, I killed the encounter, let's just keep moving, into an hour-long epic thing where we were actually taking damage, we were using all of our spells. It was good. It was really good.
I don't know how many creatures that were there before, but if you killed half of them and with that fireball, you took a maybe 3-4 round fight that we were going to do to about an 8 to 9 round fight with us chasing things and splitting the party to kill everything.
It was good. All I'm saying is, if you have the ability to have somebody, open a door and come to somebody's rescue in a dungeon, or they're fighting in an open room in a hallway. Obviously they're going to hear a fight, so other things might come wandering in.
Fight's loud, especially if you're singeing flesh with a fireball.
Oh yeah, fireball's a huge loud thing. Or casting lightning bolt like I did.
How far can the dungeon hear a fireball that's quiet?
Yeah,
in a quiet area?
Sure, monsters are going to come in. And here's the best part. Let's say your player turns around the corner, does that. They don't see everything that they can hit, and they do that, and they kill literally everybody. Well, did they? Right? Mm-hmm. What's to stop all of a sudden, I'm going to throw some things in there that have fire immunity in the room. Why not?
Or resistance.
Well, the fiendish creatures have fire resistance. So, they took some damage, but they didn't take a lot of damage.
They didn't take enough to kill them.
Right, and they made their save miraculously. Of course they did. So instead of a 40-point fireball doing 40 points, it did maybe 10. And at that point, that's the best part. So we have these not that wounded fiendish dire lions that maybe didn't even exist. Or if they did exist, there's 17 more of them now. Not quite, but I think he doubled the number of everything in there. And then he sent other stuff down the hallway at us. It was perfect. So that's what you do. The door behind them opens up, or the door in front of them that they haven't explored yet. If you're like us and you methodically kill almost everything in the dungeon behind you, then it's one of those, the door in front of you that you haven't done opens up and things are now pouring through to help their friends. That's how you scale a CR up.
Yeah, how we run through things. We are really easy to get ambushed from.
Oh yeah, we are. But that said, and that's where it should happen more, frankly.
Uh-huh.
Now here's how you scale it down. If all of a sudden you come in and let's say one hit takes the fighter down to his knees, he's literally at maybe 3 hit points or something. Okay, so you realize, that went really crazy. Now if you roll out in the open, this is a little harder to scale back. Okay? If you roll secretly, though, and we've talked about rolling out in the open versus secretly, but if you haven't heard that episode, it's basically, if you roll secretly, it lets you fudge the die rolls typically down. I normally never fudge them up. Although occasionally I will, but for the most part, they're always being fudged down. So if you're rolling secretly, you could be you can realize that maybe when you rolled 2 2s and a 4 for the damage, and you realize that you did that much damage to them, that you're going to just be like halving the amount of damage you do. Like he maybe critted on them or something crazy, and you could just basically explain it away like, oh yeah, he rolled max damage, like. Because some of your players will be like, oh my god, he almost killed the fighter in one hit. And you're like, yeah, he rolled max damage. And then at that point, maybe the guy's smart enough to realize, I don't care about killing this guy. I care about ending the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fighter right now is of no harm to me. So I'm going to go target the cleric right now. Who's got to go heal that fighter.
Yep.
And then he's not going to roll that much damage against the cleric.
Or another thing, depending on what's happening, you guys might have pulled enough resources from the dungeon that the handful of soldiers that were taken prisoner have the ability to skill a prison riot. So now in the next couple 1 to 2 rounds, you have NPC soldiers coming out and basically flanking them.
That could be. You can always have some help if you have to. I don't mind that route. Although I don't like it as much as scaling down the damage.
Scaling down the damage only works if you can roll secretly. Rolling if you have to roll out in the open because of your dynamics. Having NPCs from behind the scenes of, you guys took a lot of the resources from this area and then we were able to break free. Yeah. So as payment for you helping us, we're going to help you with this fight.
Or they don't even know that, right? Maybe they're from a front of you.
Uh-huh.
And because you've sucked off so much resources, they've been able to escape. And as they're just making their escape, they see you fighting this guy. And they decide, well, he's the head jailer. We hate him. We're gonna do some damage on the way through, and then leave. And your players will be like, oh, cool, random folks coming to hurt people we don't like. That's fine.
Yep.
Especially if you're playing in more of a world where it's like anything like humanoid, that's like dwarven, elven, whatever is good, and maybe you're fighting a bunch of other like demons or something. The next thing you know, all these humans show up. You're like, well, most likely, and they're all in rags and tattered.
Mm-hmm.
Stolen weapons.
Or even as much as D&D has some racism built in with the elves and the dwarves hating each other, if you have an elf or two in your party and they just did enough to liberate the dwarves that were prisoners,
that'll help.
The dwarves will help, not necessarily as much as you would like them to, but they see the elf fighting and it's the same prisoner that's been treating them. The same jailer that's been mistreating them. They're going to attack that jailer now.
Yeah, that's another good way of doing that. So there's some options for you. So basically, scaling up's easy. Just have more people show up, or raise their AC. If you like have another one show up but has a little bit higher AC, just because they maybe have some magic buffs on them that they don't know about.
Another thing to add in terms of if you can't roll secret, but another thing that your players don't know. Oh, that guy hit really well this time and almost killed the fighter.
Yeah.
So I'm going to drop his 2 hit by 3.
Yeah. Yep.
Or his damage by 3.
Yeah.
So he's doing less max damage, or he's hitting a lot less than he should.
Exactly.
Because I need you to live through this, because I'm not wanting to kill you.
I wasn't planning on killing you in a random hallway. I just messed up the challenge rating a little bit.
This is a Tomb of Horrors where you come to die.
Repeatedly. Well, anyway, with that, we'll leave you, and you guys have a great day.
Hey, thanks for listening.
And for more resources, please go to skullrpg.com.